Okay, so the popular vote seems to be saying Yoast SEO.
Kind of by a landslide.
I'm surprised by that. I thought they were more equal, that
Yeah.
bloggers used both plugins about the same. All right, so we have a challenge for today.
Yeah.
So we see the popular opinion, but the whole goal of today is like, let's find out what Google actually needs in terms of SEO information from a plugin, what they're actually doing, because we're preparing the next release of Acabado.
Yeah.
And previous purchasers are going to get the upgrade for free. But we want to make sure this thing is a SEO monster. It's just taking care of everything as best as it can be done.
Exactly. And the reality is that there are existing plugins for WordPress sites that people have been using for years. And the two that we showed in our poll, obviously Yoast, which won by a landslide, and then all-in-one SEO. And there are others out there as well. And they're doing a whole bunch of things, but that's the question we need to answer today is, what are they doing that actually matters? What things are necessary? And what things would we really want in an SEO plugin? And are they doing it?
Okay, so let's split up. I'll go get a list of everything you actually need your SEO plugin to do. And you want to check out the features that these are doing.
I'll go take a look at these.
And then we'll see if they're doing everything we need them to.
Absolutely.
On the whiteboard in here, I've drawn for you the things that we really need in SEO. So let's say Google goes to your blog post on our stand-up desks better for posture, right? Google goes here and it has the title already, it has the body and any pictures you have, right? But Google needs a little bit more information. There's the meta title. So the meta title is where you want to change what shows up on the search result as the title of the page from what's already in WordPress as your page title. Then there's the meta description. That's the little paragraph text under your SERP, under your result in the SERP, showing a little description of what it's about. Next is a sitemap. A sitemap is just showing, it's just a huge page that no human would ever need to go to, but it's just showing all of the pages on your website and how they're organized so Google can find everything you have. Next is no index. Sometimes there are pages that I don't want to go in into Google's index. It's a page that I want to be there, about a little event that I'm doing, but I don't want Google to crawl this for years to come. And so I'm just going to no index it. I don't really care if it shows up in search. So it's helpful to have this no index. This is what you actually need. This is what you need on your page. But then there are some nice to have features that a lot of these plugins will have. Like your Google Analytics code, you can integrate it easily by hand, but it's handy if your plugin will handle that for you, so it's just automatically put in. Same as connection to Google Search Console. Link settings are handy so that I can no index or mark a link as the new tag, which is sponsored if it's an affiliate link. It's handy to have those things. So need to have, handy to have, that's really what we need from our plugin. But is it really? Let's go through these things one at a time. This is kind of our what most people would say. Now your meta title. WordPress already has the title to the page done for you. When you write the title up there, it's already creating your meta title. The only time you would need a plugin for this is if you wanted to have it different than what's displaying on the page. I can't think of a time I would ever need that. Next, meta description. We have written thousands of blog posts where we just didn't bother to fill in the meta description because in a huge percentage of cases, Google is going to pick their own meta description of what part of the article they think was the best summary of it anyway, and they'll not even obey what you said is the meta description. And so It's nice to have, it's a best practice, but again, thousands of blog posts brought millions of page views where we didn't even fill it in and we did just fine. So do we really need that? Now let's go to sitemap. We have had many sites that we never bothered to make a sitemap, because if you have your menu structure normal so that just every page you could navigate to from the home page, they're going to find all the pages just fine by following your links. We've never had a problem with that. So a sitemap can be very handy if you had a massive site, an e-commerce site with 10,000 pages and a complicated link structure. But on most WordPress sites, this will make no difference whatsoever to your SEO. Now, no indexing pages, it's really just kind of saves your crawl budget. Google sets a certain budget for your site of how many resources they're going to put to crawling it and how often they want to come to your site. And you're saving yourself a little bit of unnecessary them checking on a page that they don't need to check on here. Is it really going to make you rank better? Not really. It's just handy to have. It's a best practice. So do we really need a plugin to do any of the most necessary things? Actually not. And this stuff we've already talked about. These are just nice features to have. But again, these aren't actually going to impact your SEO at all. You can put in analytics a million different ways. Same as connect to Search Console. You don't need a plugin for that. Link settings you can just do by hand. Go into the HTML editor for that post and you're there. So you can see from this that people think an SEO plugin is some kind of silver bullet. It's going to do this SEO woo-woo juju to your website. And the truth is, the most necessary things you need to rank on Google, you need no plugin for, which is why we just built several websites with no SEO plugin and built them up to a lot of traffic and sold them, and they did just fine.
Okay, so these SEO plugins are doing a whole host of things for you. Sorry, pardon the pun, I just had to do that. I went through and made a list of all of the features that are being done here on the computer, and between Yoast and All-in-One, I mean, there are dozens and dozens of different features. Things like de-indexing category pages. These are all things that seem like good practice for SEO, but the reality is, according to Kinsta, 37% of the web is on WordPress. You don't think that Google understands what a category page is and how to handle that in search? We've never had an issue with category pages ranking high in search and having that hurt our SEO. It's just not a thing. And so there are numerous features and settings in both Yoast SEO and All-in-One SEO that if you don't know what you're doing, you can actually actively hurt your website. And in fact, they're promoting behaviors that are actually going to actively hurt your website. Let me show you this. This is crazy. So here's an article. We wrote this article a few years ago. It has attracted over 360,000 organic page views, people who just come to the website, right? But look at the Yoast SEO analysis score. You know how to get a high SEO analysis score? You keyword stuff. That's what you do. In fact, let me show you another example. Jim wrote this one yesterday. This was fun. This is a complete garbage blog post, right? Look at the title. Bad plugins are what this post is about. You know why he titled it that way? Because the target keyword was bad plugins. And he actually wrote the title, "This post is about bad plugins." And Yoast SEO said, no, the keyword needs to be first in the title.
Sorry, I'm not supposed to be in the
It's ridiculous. Are you kidding me? Like
that's going to make the difference.
Like Google's not going to know that it's about bad plugins because it's not the first word in the title. Are you kidding me? But the SEO analysis shows green. It's perfectly happy. And the readability score is equally easy to game. You just have relatively short sentences, don't repeat the same starting word of a sentence too many times in a paragraph, and you get a good readability score, which actually has nothing to do with good readability. These are tests that are, first of all, antiquated, and second of all, can be really harmful. We've had several members of our membership program in Income School who have spent hours trying to get green scores on Yoast SEO to the point that we told them, take the plugin off your website entirely. it's doing you more harm than good because you're wasting time and now you're actively keyword stuffing. Now, there are some things that we would like a plugin to do. There are some actual technical SEO things that in 2020 can really benefit you. Yoast and All-in-One are not doing any of those things. But a newer SEO plugin out there called Rank Math seems to have some good schema features. They're addressing that, the SEO needs that we have now in 2020. So I'm optimistic about that plugin, but without some thorough testing, I can't make a solid recommendation yet. They are doing some of this SEO analysis juju stuff that I'm not real confident in. And because of that, I do think that most people, most of you who are bloggers on a WordPress site are probably better off using none of these SEO plugins than choosing between one or the other.
So you've seen what those plugins do for you. And now let's look at some things that we want to happen in our technical SEO that aren't happening. Now Ricky's going to slowly slink in and pretend he wasn't the camera person that needed to be there for the transition. Okay, so when we made Acabado, we were taking a holistic look at SEO, what actually is necessary. And some of these things are cool and needed. So post type schema, if you're making a news website, you're dead in the water without schema. You need it right now. And so that's going to enable Google to have some special information about the blog post, the organization that published it, the time it was published, that kind of thing, so that it can work in Google News. And same thing with recipes. Yeah. If you're making recipes in 2020 without recipe schema, it's a problem. And so these plugins that are handling your SEO are doing the things that we don't need them to do and missing some very critical things for some publishers.
Right. So another example, authorship schema, right? In 2020, we talk about how important it is to establish expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And without authorship schema, like what authorship schema is doing is it's allowing us to provide information about individuals, the creators, the writers, the publishers on a website, and provide that information to Google so that they can tie it all together. And that even like across multiple websites, you can say, hey, I'm the same Ricky Kessler that showed up on that podcast. Mm-hmm. And so being able to do that helps to establish that EAT. And then you've seen cool, like in the SERPs, especially, in Google, in the sidebar when it pulls up, you do a search for an author and it pulls in a bunch of cool biographical information. All of that's information that's been provided by schema, and it just adds that level of kind of professionalism and trustworthiness.
So you and I are making another YouTube channel called Margin. Yep. It's all about personal finance, called Margin by Income School. And if we haven't started a website for it yet, just the YouTube channel. But when we start that website, it would be very important to tell Google, hey, that Jim Harmer who wrote that blog post is also the guy who has a lot of followers talking about business on Income School. That would be a very important deal.
Exactly.
The only way to do that is with authorship schema. On my author page on Margin, I'd want to use a same as tag and say, this is the same Jim Harmer as this. And I can provide links to an article on CNBC and all these different things that people have talked about Jim Harmer.
Exactly.
Okay, so authorship schema, very important in the age of EAT. Organizational schema is really the same thing, but about the website as a business or whatever. You can say if it's an individual or a business page, you can have your company logo there, when the company was founded, your address, contact information. You can do all kinds of things with the organizational schema. Not that big of a deal, I wouldn't say, but I definitely want it.
Right.
Well, yeah, when somebody does a search for Income School, right now Google's automatically pulling up the website, and then they're automatically putting in some of the other key pages, about us pages, stuff like that.
We could do a lot more.
Right. And we can have it pull in our logo and like this is when the company was founded, and it just, again, adds that level of detail that sets a little bit of authoritativeness, a little bit of trustworthiness for that organization. It's pretty cool.
Okay, this last one needs like... This is a big deal.
Yeah.
So WordPress's default behavior, and really every theme I've ever seen, the default behavior is You write an article at the very bottom, it shows your byline, and if you click on the name, Jim Harmer, it takes you to my archive page of all the other blog posts I've written. This does very little or nothing in terms of expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness to convince Google that like, hey, this is a trustworthy author. But what if instead I create an About Jim Harmer page, but Google now has to try to connect the dots between this author page and which author they are, and maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't happen. But if instead that byline went to my About page, instead, now I have the About page with all my links and credentials and all that kind of stuff in there, and maybe some of the blog posts I've written all in one spot. That's beautiful for EAT. And right there is my authorship schema right on that page. That's gold. That's what we need in 2020 for authorship. No one does this. So that's one thing that we added in our theme, Akabato. And this isn't like a self-serving thing. We actually identified some things in Akabato we really want to improve in the next version. So we're by no means there. But there are some things like that no one seems to be doing that I would consider to be a big deal.
So like if we had our own, like if we were Rank Math, right? Mm-hmm. This is a feature that wouldn't be hard to add. Mm-hmm. Anybody with any theme can just turn off the author byline, and then the plugin could have an author byline that links over to a special About page. Yep. Like build that into your plugin. Mm-hmm. Let's have a more holistic approach to what actually matters for SEO. But instead, what these guys are generally doing is they're ticking the boxes that everyone has said for the last 20 years are important to tick. Whereas today, Google and WordPress together are smart enough that they do all of this for us.
Right, and as we look at the feature set of Yoast and All-in-One, and we're just picking on those two because they're the biggest, right? It's every WordPress plugin ever for SEO. There are things, it's not snake oil. Like you read through each feature and it's like, okay, I can see why the use case for that. But just in a practical case, from building lots and lots of websites to millions of page views, we look at those things and are like, this isn't it. This isn't what moves the needle. This stuff actually does, and it's missing.
I'd like to just add one little disclaimer. If you were like Target.com, massive e-commerce, loads and loads and loads of pages, like, yes, I would probably want to use more of the technical features, not just the ones here, but the many other features that are available for SEO. And they're not using plugins either. Right. They're doing all of it.
But they are real things that you could need in technical SEO.
It's not that those things don't have a place. It's just that we need to not get hung up as bloggers, as content creators, as internet marketers, with little technical SEO things that don't move any needles. That's the point.
Because frankly, if you had no SEO plugin on most WordPress sites and you had a normal menu that's critical so you can navigate to every page, you would do perfectly fine. Yep. This kind of stuff would be handy if you were in a YMYL space. So thanks for joining us on this video, and be sure to check us in your next video on Monday.